So what are the best ways that you can make money without a regular job? So most likely if you clicked on this video, you might be working a regular job right now. Maybe you're working 40 hours a week at a job that you just really dread going to, and you feel like the coworkers are super toxic, your manager is annoying, he or she keeps breathing down your neck, keeps bothering you basically, and just has all these petty rules in place. And after working all these hours, likely doing manual labor as well, you have very little energy to do anything when you get off of work. Time is moving faster than it's ever been, and the worst part of it all is you can't even live a comfortable life because you are getting paid peanuts for working 3 jobs simultaneously. And that was my case with many of the jobs that I've had, especially one that I've had about 5 years ago when I was working in a dollar store, making 12 bucks an hour or something like that as a assistant manager. But although I was making a little bit more money than a normal cashier there would, I had way more stress at when I went up a rank that just made it not worth it at all. And so that made it to where I had to work, I had to be forced to work on my days off or I'd get fired. And then even after taking energy shots and running back and forth, trying to do all these things at once, I would still get scolded for not working hard enough. And I would have to, be pulled into these team meetings or whatever about, work performance, you're not doing your best at your job. And after all that, I was getting barely anything in return. So more and more and more Americans are falling into this exact scenario, and they just feel burnt out altogether. So as a result, I'm seeing more people that are around my age, especially, in their mid-20s, even late teens, 30s even, that are, they continue to live with their parents. They're living very minimal, and they're, trying to work as little as possible at a regular job, which is understandable. So yeah, the unfortunate thing is you really can't, build a family working any of these jobs like you could 20, 30 years ago, today, for example, right? So the best thing that you could do is figure out a way to earn an income online. I really believe that that is really the best thing you could do. If you could start some sort of online business and get yourself to a point where you're earning even like $1,000 or $2,000 a month online, that in my opinion is more valuable than being stuck at one location and making $10,000 a month or $20,000, right? Because then you still have to continue showing up at that job, working 40 plus hours a week, and that's to barely be able to live comfortably in where you currently live, where the cost of living might be super high up. So if you can earn just $1,000 or $2,000 a month online, then you can live in most places, at least, I mean, not super comfortably, but you can live a decent life without having to be, feel stressed out all the time. So the best ways that you can make money online are going to be anything in terms of either freelance work. So you have platforms like Fiverr.com, which is Fiverr.com. You can look up that site, and there's many different things you could do in terms of designing websites. You can do voiceover work. You can do stuff with AI. You could design logos. There's a ton of things you could do. And if you consider yourself good at pretty much anything online, or like programming, for example, then someone can pay you to help them with whatever they're doing, whether it's like editing YouTube videos, for example. In my case, I just do very basic videos like this. But if you consider yourself really good at something, then you could offer that service. You could charge an amount based on what people are paying. And then if you get a ton of really good reviews, then you can, of course, increase your rates down the line and maybe offer some additional like add-ons as well. So there's Fiverr.com. There's another site called Upwork.com. Both of them are pretty much the same thing. Upwork, I would say, is more for like if you want more like long-term work where a client can hire you to work for them long-term, whereas Fiverr is more of like one-off things. So if you are good at creating logos, someone can pay you to make like a logo for their brand, and then you get paid for that one gig right there. So Upwork, I would say, is probably the better one if you want more long-term work. However, the issue with that is you are trading time for your money. So ideally, the best way to escape the 9 to 5 rat race altogether is you want to create consistent income online, and that's where you have an online business of your own where people are buying products. And if you could automate this, then you could have freedom. So you have things like Amazon FBA, where you can, you ship products to Amazon, they take care of everything for you, the listing, the product fulfillment, and then you just have to have the inventory to send over to Amazon. That's really all you need. So the thing with that is you can make a ton of money on that platform because Amazon's a very trusted brand. The downside is the fact that you have to have a couple $1,000 at the very least to start that up. And most people who teach Amazon FBA, their courses are like $2,000 to $3,000 to even get in. So you are going to have quite a bit of capital to start that up. But if you have the money, then that could be one option you go with. There is also doing things you can do. You could set up your own Shopify store. That typically requires that you are running ads to products online. So you take products on a platform like AliExpress or Temu, these kind of cheap products, and then you list them on your Shopify store for a markup, and then you collect the profit whenever someone they buy the product, right? So you typically with that either have to be really good at running ads online, and the cost of advertising is becoming more expensive. So the profit margins are, pretty difficult to get consistent profit margins on board unless if you are doing a ton of volume. So that's one thing that does take quite a bit of time. But I believe that the simplest path overall for the average everyday person is going to be selling digital products online. Why do I recommend selling digital products over, selling physical stuff or most other online businesses? Well, if you have something that you're knowledgeable in, whether that is becoming in better shape, or you know a lot about traveling, or about cryptocurrency, then you could have your own course that you create on that subject. You can set your own rate, and when someone buys that course or that software that you created, then you're making way bigger profit margins on that compared to if you're selling physical items. So there's way more money to be made because there's no shipping costs involved. And then you can, sell something that's maybe like $500 or $1,000, and you're making a lot more compared to selling, physical items. And the other benefit of this is you actually don't even have to create any products yourself. So you can do something like affiliate marketing, for example, where you sign up to become an affiliate for other companies out there, and pretty much every single brand that you know of, Amazon, Best Buy, Walmart, they all have their own affiliate programs, and you can promote, products on their website. However, if you find digital products to promote, then you can make money by promoting other people's programs that are already converting. So ideally what you want to find is you want to find products that are converting very well, that have a good earning potential. And if you want to get an idea on products to, promote, then you could check out platforms like ClickBank, JVZoo, Warrior Plus. Those are 3 platforms you could check out, and they all have digital products that, for the most part, that you can sign up to become an affiliate for. And they have products in pretty much every single category, depending on what it is that you're interested in promoting. And you just have to get really good at getting traffic to your link. Now, the other benefit with this is you don't have to worry about running ads online. So with other business models, like, Shopify, for example, you got to spend all this money on paid advertising, to also factor in the fact that the profit margins are already very small. But with digital marketing, all you really need is you just need a way to generate attention online using free social media, and you don't even have to show your face online. So yes, you could do videos like these, and you could build up a following by speaking your thoughts on different subjects that are regarding the niche you're getting into. But all you really need is you just need a simple way to create content online. And you could just look at other channels or creators out there that are creating content that you follow. So depending on what type of content that you're consuming, whether you're consuming content regarding getting in better shape, traveling, any other industry that you're interested in, or any other thing that you're interested in learning about, then you could simply find other channels and then you can create content that is similar to theirs. So you don't want to copy anyone per se, but you want to take inspiration and see what's working for other creators. What are people actually tuning in for? What types of video topics are getting a ton of views? And then you want to create them in your own style. So if you want to create faceless videos, for example, then you can either do videos where you are, recording your computer screen. That's if you're promoting more digital products, and you can review the website, talk about what you get when you sign up, and then you could talk about the pricing options. You could offer some sort of incentive for people to buy, and you have a link in your description. That's one way you can go about creating faceless content. Otherwise, if you want to create content for platforms like TikTok or Instagram, then you can just do very simple 30-second videos with text on screen and the sound in the background, and you could find several different creators in almost any niche that are doing videos just like that. So you can take your phone, you could walk around outside in nature, point your phone at like plants and stuff, and then put a little sound in the background, and then have the text on screen that talks about what it is that you want to help people with. So top 3 ways to lose weight in after pregnancy or something like that, right? And then, or the best diet to go on if you want to lose weight and build muscle, right? So these are all things you could talk about depending on the industry you're getting in. But once you figure out a way to generate attention online, then all you really need is you just need a link in your description, your YouTube video descriptions, or your bio on your Instagram profile. And when someone clicks it, then you could of course make money that way. So that being said, let me know your thoughts down below. If you have anything that you want to add to this, or if you agree or disagree, share your thoughts, give us a thumbs up, and take care. See you in the next one.